Welcome back. We are continuing with art news. Now, Melrose Gallery will be introducing its new exhibition, Hlukanisa, uHlanganise, in conversation with Dr Esther Mahlangu. It's all happening on the 13th of April. So this exhibition really convenes an intergenerational dialogue between the iconic artists and contemporary artists like Charity Vilakazi, Tinyiko Makwakwa, as well as Nikiwe Dlova and Puleng Mongale and Nwabisa Ntlokwana. So the show, it includes paintings, it includes sculptures, textiles, photography, and digital media at large. And to share a little bit more about this exhibition this morning, we are joined by curator Mpumi Mayisa. Mpumi, good morning, and thank you. Thank you for making time to be here.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
I know that a lot of work is going into it behind the scenes, and you're obviously putting everything together. So tell us a little bit more about this exhibition and what people can really expect this time around.
Okay, cool. So as you've mentioned to the audience, the title of the show is Hlukanisa, uHlanganise.
Yes.
And what I wanted to do here is convene a dialogue between Dr Esther Mahlangu, who is a contemporary artist, but with younger artists,
Absolutely.
right? And what we're doing here is essentially deconstructing the African sciences, because I do think that, she's inserted her voice into them in a way that's really important. But then it's also debunking the fact that, African traditions or sciences or education wasn't archived, because when you think about like Dr Esther Mahlangu's work, it very much is inscriptive. It's a way of writing, it's a way of decoding language, it's a way like, if a bride gets married, for example, then there's a certain shape. So it's also a way of writing our histories. And so it's kind of moving away from the notion that if language isn't didactic, then it doesn't exist, or if education isn't like presented in a certain way, or historical archiving is not presented in a certain way, then it's not done.
Absolutely, and that's going to add to our agency as well, and also perhaps shift the benchmark, because we're obviously using Eurocentric approaches as a means of measuring what is scientific or acceptable. That's a conscientizing of sorts that's also going to be happening. How do you think that evolution's been embraced through the more contemporary artists, if we're going to look at that intergenerational impact that she's had and the strength and the courage that it's given the younger artists?
Yeah, so I think this show is very much looking at the material. So how have these practices been preserved through the material? So you have Nikiwe Dlova, who uses hair. She braids these beautiful braids and then creates these really beautiful works on canvas. And then you also have Charity Vilakazi, who uses red ochre. You also have Tinyiko Makwakwa, who uses natural dyes and textiles. So there's just this play with the material and understanding how just understanding the intelligence of the material and being able to reimagine it and see it anew. And like I said, deconstructing it and then putting something new together. So
then what's on offer through the exhibition? I mean, what can people experience through this as well?
So a dialogue, it's going to be, this conversation, like I said, through material gestures. And you'll see with Nikiwe's work, for example, she's created geometric patterns that are very similar to what we see with Dr Esther Mahlangu's work. But like she uses weaving, so if you look through the work, it's actually braided. So she uses braiding patterns to be able to, convey that to the audience. And then when you look at Puleng Mongale, for example, she's just multiplying herself. So then again, there's like this sense of the fact that we know that we don't walk alone, and she's able to articulate that as well, like through her work.
So speaking about not walking alone, uHlanganise, which is the art of retrieving and fetching ancestral knowledge. That's a spiritual element as well. That also defines the influences. Tell us a little bit more about the process on that front, how it was weaved, incorporated into what's on offer.
So I think this was a process of listening. There were certain artists that I had, had my eye on for a very long time. And then when I was conceptualizing this show, it was about the fact that what do I want to explore through the show? What do I want to say through the show? And, it was through the selection of artists, who gesture in certain ways that I knew that, okay, cool, we can convene this conversation and collectively we can kind of speak to this deconstruction that they've done, and then be able to engage, what they are bringing into the present and what they're able to create, using these knowledge systems that have been,
Yeah.
Inherited, yes.
How has
that's
it
what I was
also
looking for.
influenced the value of art and perceptions on that front, given the shifting landscape and just the perceptions that we're obviously challenging through this?
So I think if you think about red ochre, which is such, I've been learning about these materials. So I was having a conversation with Tinyiko and she was outlining to me that red ochre actually has like SPF 15, So then we think about it, like when you think about it, you just see people smearing it on their faces and we don't understand the full properties of that, right? So it's being able to take these everyday materials, to take, these very intelligent materials and then impose it in this way and then also just place it in a contemporary space and make these works, I think, even though they are rooted in Africanness, they're very much contemporary. And so people should be able to see the value in that and then invest in it.
Sure, absolutely. In terms of where it's showcasing, times, interactions as well, I mean, just give us more info on that, tickets as well. What's an offer on that front?
So the show is opening on Sunday, which is the 13th of April at 11 a.m. We're going to have a walkabout. All the artists are going to be there, so they'll be able to speak to their practice and engage the audience, and we look forward to seeing them there. And then they can also follow the Melrose Gallery on Instagram just to find out about our programming, because we're still going to have panels and just activate the show. And we want to learn with the audience, and we also want to know what they know, and to have this dialogue also stretch out into the audience.
It's a give and take. And I mean, how long is that going to happen? Is it fair to condense a lifetime of work in like an hour or so? I mean, how long should people budget for?
So it's going to be, I think it's going to be on until the 25th of May. Okay. So yeah, the exhibition is going to be running for quite a while, for 6 weeks. So if you can't make it on Sunday, please come into the gallery. We're open daily. I'm also going to be there. So I'm happy to engage the audience and for us to continue this dialogue.
Well, thank you for joining us and taking time out of your busy schedule, because I know there's lots more that needs to be done. But thank you for sharing your work and for healing us as a nation. Also just intergenerationally bringing us all together. It's the unity project that is working. Hlukanisa, uHlanganise, of course, in conversation with Dr Esther Mahlangu. It's curated by Mpumi Mayisa. It will be showcasing, as you heard, at the Melrose Gallery from the 13th of April, Sunday, up until the 23rd of May.